Ryan, what did you get for number 1?
Me or him?
Hunter.
Okay. Y equals 2, 3 plus B.
What's y?
0.
0. So we plug 0 in for y. So then, how do we solve for b?
6.
Well, we get 0 is equal to 6 plus b. Now what do we do?
6 is B.
So we subtract 6, and we get negative 6 is equal to b. Perfect. William, what do we do for number 2?
What?
So we're using this equation, and it gives us m, x, and y.
So it's like y equals
What's y?
0.
For number
wait,
2.
Never mind. It's negative 4.
So negative 4 is equal to?
Negative 4 is equal to negative 1 times 5 plus b.
Perfect. So we have negative 4 is equal to negative 5 plus b. How do we solve for b?
Minus 5.
Yeah.
Well, we already have a minus 5, so we need to add 5.
Sorry.
So we add 5 to both sides, and we get 1 is equal to b. Now let's look at number 3. Solve each equation for y. Nicole, how do we solve for y? How do we get y all by itself? Add 6x to both sides. So we get y is equal to 9 plus 6x. That's all we do. Alex, what do we do for a 4?
You add 4x.
So we add, do we add 4x or subtract?
You subtract.
Subtract. Now what do we do next? How do we get the y all by itself?
Divide by 2.
Divide by negative 2.
Negative.
So you have to divide everything by negative 2. So you get y is equal to negative 4 plus 2x. So that's the warm-up. Section 3.6 has the objectives of graph lines and write their equations in slope-intercept and point-slope form, and classify lines as parallel, intersecting, or coinciding. Our vocab is point-slope form and slope-intercept form. So we have two forms of the equation of a line. So we have point-slope form and slope-intercept form. Point-slope form is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, where m is the slope, so m is our slope, and x1 comma y1 is a given point on the line. So if we have m is equal to 2, we take 2 in and plug it in for m, and x1 comma y1, this is our point, we take both of these and plug them in. Next we have slope-intercept form, which is y is equal to mx plus b, where m is the slope again, and b is the y-intercept. What does it mean to be a y-intercept?
The thing where you're on the line, on the vertical line.
So where the line crosses the y-axis. An equation of a vertical line is x is equal to a, where a is the x-intercept. So if we have x is equal to 5, we would go over 5 and plot our point, and this would be a vertical line through this point. So this is x is equal to 5. The equation of a horizontal line is y is equal to b, where b is the y-intercept. So if y is equal to 2, we would go up 2, and this would be a line with the equation y is equal to 2. So if it's y is equal to something, it's a horizontal line. If it's x is equal to a number, it's a vertical line. Write the equation of each line in the given form. The line with slope 6 through 3, -4 in point slope form. What is point slope form? Yes.
Wait, it's y in point slope. Okay, it's y minus y1 equals slope. Slope parentheses x minus minus x1.
Perfect.
No, you're not. Shut up, Ryan.
So it gives us the slope. So this is our m. Our m will be 6. And it gives us a point. So we can call this 3, x1, and the -4 will be our y1. So now we just plug in each of these points. So we have y minus, what's y1?
-4.
What's our m?
6.
And then x minus, what's our x1?
3.
3. And that's it. That's all we do. So this is an equation in point slope form.
Did you have to simplify it and do the whole math?
We would not, the only thing we could simplify here is to make it x
Okay.
plus 4.
Well, couldn't we do y plus 4 then 6x minus 18?
No, because this is point slope form. So we have to leave it in this form.
Oh, so we had to
Nope.
change it to
We don't simplify it any further because it's only asking us for point slope form, so we leave it like this.
You already saw it. Tiny stupid. That's so rude.
Write the equation of each line in the given form. The line through -1, 0, and 1, 2 in slope-intercept form. We have 2 points that are given here. What else do we need? What's slope-intercept form?
Y equals mx plus 3.
Y is equal to mx plus b. Perfect.
You're correct, Ryan.
So we need an m and we need a b. Do we have that? Is that given to us? No,
Yeah.
so we need to find
We
it.
have n.
What's the m?
Don't have it.
2 minus 0 and 1 minus -1.
Right, so we have to solve for m. So we do x2 minus x1, so 2 minus 0, and the y2 minus y1 on top, x2 minus x1 on bottom. So then 1 minus -1. So we get 2 is 2 over, what's 1 minus -1?
2.
2. So what's 2 over 2 simplify to?
1.
1. So our m is equal to 1. So now we have y is equal to 1x plus b. How do we solve for b?
You have to.
Julian.
Isn't B a line or something? No, it's just.
Do we have an x and y that we can plug in
Yeah.
into this equation?
Now we can do the point slope form thing. No, I lied. Yeah, we put the x in.
What x do we put in?
Positive 1.
From where?
-1.
Right, we can use this equation. This is our x and this is our y. So we can just plug these two in. We could use the other coordinates too, but it doesn't matter. So we can plug in -1 for x and 0 for y. So 0 is equal to 1 times -1 plus b. Now we solve for b. So we get 0 is equal to -1 plus b. Add 1 to both sides. So what do we get for b?
-1.
What do we get for b? Positive 1. So now we have our m and we have our b, so we just plug those in. So we get y is equal to, what's our m?
1.
1. X plus, what's our b? 1. And that's it. Yes.
When you write it, do you have to write the 1?
You do not have to write the 1 in front of the x. Remember, 1x is the same thing as just x, so. Write the equation of each line in the given form. The line with the x-intercept 3 and the y-intercept -5 in point-slope form. So if we had a graph, and our x-intercept was 3, where would this point be? What would be the coordinates of our x-intercept being 3? 3, 0. Perfect. So we have the point 3, 0. And what would be the coordinates of the y-intercept at -5?
-5. 0. 0, -5.
0, -5. So now that we have 2 points, can we find our slope?
Yes.
Yes. So we would do y2 minus y1, so -5 minus 0 over 0 minus 3. This simplifies to -5 over -3, which simplifies even further to what? 5 over 3. So that's our slope. And it's asking us for point slope form, which is, what's point slope form?
Y minus y1 equal to m parentheses x minus x1.
Perfect. So do we have everything we need to plug in now? Yes. So what's our y1?
It's 0 or 3. No. Yeah, 0 or 3. Right? No.
It's one of those. Which one?
It's 3.
So we're using this point. This is our x.
0.
This is our y. So it's 0. What's our m?
It's
5 over 3.
then x minus 3.
Perfect.
Do we have to use 3 comma 0 or can we use 0?
You can use the other one too. So write the equation of each line in the given form. The line with slope 0 through 4, 6 in slope-intercept form. What's slope-intercept form? Y is equal to mx plus b. So do we have our m? What's our m? 0. Do we have our b?
No.
Not yet. So how do we find our b?
Y minus mx equals b, or b equals y minus m.
So do we have a y and an x that we can plug in into this equation?
But wouldn't there be no y-intercept? The slope is 0, it doesn't go up or down, right?
Right. But let's plug this in. So we have an x and a y. Okay. So we have 6 is equal to 0x plus b. 0, what's that? 4. So we have 6 is equal to 0 plus b. So 6 is equal to b. So now we can plug this in. So we get y is equal to 0x plus 6. So we can simplify this to y is equal to 6. Does everyone see how we found b? We just took the x and y that was given and plugged it in into this equation to find b. So write the equation of each line in the given form. The line through -3, 2, and 1, 2 in point slope form. What's point slope form?
Y minus y1 equals to m parentheses x minus x1.
Perfect. So what do we need? We have a point. But do we have m?
No.
So we need to find m. So how do we find m?
2 minus 2 over 1 minus -3.
Perfect. So we get 0 over 4. What does it simplify to? 0. So now we can just plug everything in. So we can call our first point x1 and y1. So we have y minus, what's our y1? 2 is equal to 0 times
X plus 3 or minus -3.
x minus -3, which would be plus 3. It'd be the same thing. So now since our slope is 0, we could distribute the 0. We get y minus 2 is equal to 0. That's it. That's our answer. So graph each line. So here we have slope-intercept form. So we have our slope and our y-intercept. What's our slope?
1 over 2.
1 over 2, which this would be rise over run, right? And what's our y-intercept? 1. So we graph our y-intercept first, which would be right here. The point where it crosses the y-axis is 1, so we would have 1, 0, 0, 1 as our first point. And then rise would be 1, run would be 2, so we go up 1 over 2. We have another point there, up 1 over 2, and another point there. We just put a line through the 3 points. Any questions on how we did that? Nope. Okay, let's do them. So now we have point slope form. So we have a point and our slope. So what's the point that we have here? Ton. Massimo, want to help him out?
-4, -3.
So it'd be -4, +3. Since point slope form is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Since these are negative, we flip the signs of these. Okay, so this becomes -4 and this becomes +3. What's our slope? -2. So let's graph our point. We have -4, 3. And then our slope would be -2 over 1, because that's the same thing as -2. So we have a rise and a run. So since the rise is -2, we would go down 2 to the right one, down 2 to the right one. And that would be our line. So everyone sees that since our rise is negative, we're going down.
Yeah.
If it's positive, we're going up.
Yep. So since our slope was -2, this line is decreasing. Graph each line. Y is equal to -3. So we have a point right there. What is this line going to be, a horizontal line or a vertical line? Horizontal. When we have y is equal to a number, it's going to be a horizontal line. Y is equal to 2x minus 3. So this is slope-intercept form. So we have a slope, which is 2, and our intercept, so our y-intercept is -3. So let's graph our y-intercept, -3. And our slope would be 2 over 1, so we have rise over run. So we're going up 2 and over 1. So up 2, over 1, up 2, over 1. That would be our line. Yes. Graph each line. So this is point slope form. So we have a point and we have our slope. What's our point here? Massimo.
No. Positive 1, -2. No,
So-
backwards.
So what's
It would be -2, +1.
-2, +1. Remember, this is our x and we flip the sign. This is our y and we flip the sign. What's our slope? -2 over 3. So we have our rise and our run. So let's start with the point, -2, 1. And then we go down 2, since our rise is negative, and to the right 3. Then we go down 2 and to the right 3. And that would be our line. So graph each line. Y is equal to -4. Ryan, what type of line would this be? Horizontal. He helped you out.
I didn't know.
So a horizontal line at -4. A system of 2 linear equations in 2 variables represents 2 lines. The lines can be parallel, intersecting, or coinciding. So we have parallel lines that look like this. Ton, what do we know about parallel lines?
That they always keep going.
That they keep going and never touch. They never touch. So what do we know about their slopes?
They're the same.
They're the same. Intersecting lines are going to intersect at a point. Nicole, what do we know about coinciding lines? What does it say on the board? What does it say on your iPad?
If they're on the same line.
So lines that coincide are the same line. So coinciding are going to be the same exact line right on top of each other. Yep. So they're going to be the same line, but their equations might be written in different forms. So parallel lines are going to have the same slope, but different y-intercepts. Intersecting lines have different slopes, and coinciding lines have the same slope and the same y-intercept. What do we notice about every single equation on this page? What type of form are they all written in?
Y equals mx plus c.
Yeah, so slope-intercept form. So in order to tell whether the lines are parallel, intersecting, or coinciding, we need to put the equations into slope-intercept form. Did you figure something out? You want to do the next example? So what's our slope of the first line? Nicole?
I don't know.
If this is in y is equal to mx plus b, what's our m? 3. So the slope of the first line is 3. What about the second one?
Negative 3?
So the slope of the second line is -3. Are these two the same slopes?
No.
No.
No. So would these lines be parallel, intersect, or coincide? Go back to the page before. What does it say about two lines that have different slopes? They intersect.
Let's go.
Good job, Ton. Determine whether the lines are parallel, intersect, or coincide. What is the slope of the first line?
Negative 1 over 3.
-1/3. What's the slope of the second line? What do we need to do to the second line?
Get rid of the 6.
Get rid of the 6. So we need to put it into slope-intercept form. How do we get rid of the 6, Ton?
You just divide it.
We divide it. So divide everything by 6. So we get y is equal to -2/6x plus 12/6. Can we simplify this?
Yes.
So y is equal to -2. Y is equal to -1/3x. What's 12/6 simplified to? Plus 2. So what's our slope of the blue line?
Negative 1 over 3.
So these are the same, right? They have the same. If they have the same slope, we need to look at their y-intercept and see if those are the same. So we have 5 and 2. So if those are not the same, what would these be? Parallel. So these two lines are parallel. So now let's look at 2y minus 4x is equal to 16. What do we need to do to this line? Put it into slope-intercept form. So we can add 4x to both sides. Now we divide by 2. So we get y is equal to 2x plus 8. So what's our slope? 2. Now let's look at the next one. So we have y minus 10 is equal to 2x minus 2. So now we add 10 to both sides. Y is equal to 2x plus 8. So now we have a slope of 2. Also, so now what do we have to look at? The y. So now we look at the y-intercepts. We have plus 8 and plus 8. They're the same. So what does it mean when we have the slopes that are the same and the y-intercepts are the same? What are these two lines? Are they parallel, intersect, or coincide? They coincide. So when they have the same slopes and the same y-intercepts, look at these two equations. These two are the same, so they're the same lines. Determine whether the lines 3x plus 5y is equal to 2 and 3x plus 6 is equal to -5y are parallel, intersect, or coincide. So let's take the first line. And we have 3x plus 5y is equal to 2. Ton, what do we do first to get this into slope-intercept form?
Subtract 5y.
We could subtract the 5y or we could just subtract the 3x.
Oh, okay. Subtract 3x then.
Now what do we do?
Divide 5.
Divide the 5. So we have y is equal to
2 over 5. Negative 3x.
I'm just writing the 3x to keep it in, the 3 over 5x to keep it in slope-intercept form. So I'm just switching the order of these two. So we have negative 3 over 5x plus 2 over 5. So now let's look at our second line. 3x plus 6 is equal to negative 5y. What can we do? Divide the negative 5. So we have y is equal to
2x.
Do we have the same slope?
Yes.
Yes. Negative 3 over 5. So we have the same slope, so they're definitely not intersecting lines. Do we have the same y-intercept? No. So they're not coinciding, so therefore they are parallel. Okay, the last two slides, it has the answer written for you. You just need to graph it. I'll include it in the video, but you guys can get started on your homework now. Okay, so we have the line through negative 1, 3, and 3, negative 5 in slope-intercept form. So we can graph this negative 1, 3, and 3, negative 5. And we can just put a line right through it. So that's a graph of number 1. It gives us 2 points, but we need the slope. So we can plug these two into our slope equation. So m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we get negative 8 over 4, which is equal to negative 2. So now we need the y-intercept. So we can plug these two in for our x and y. So we have x and y, and then we can plug the m into our equation as well. So we're plugging it into the slope-intercept equation. So y is equal to mx plus b. So we can plug our y, which is 3, our m, which is negative 2, and our x, which is negative 1, plus b, and now we solve for b. So we have 3 is equal to 2 plus b. So now we can just subtract 2 from both sides, and we get 1 is equal to b. So now we just plug in our b and our m back into the slope-intercept form. So we have y is equal to negative 2x plus 1, which is the same answer we have right there. So now we can look at number 2. The line through 5, negative 1 with slope 2, 5, and 2 over 5 in point slope form. So point slope form is going to be y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1. So it gives us a point, so we can plug this in for our x1 and our y1, and this is our m. So we have y minus negative 1, which just becomes a plus, is equal to our m, which is 2/5, x minus, so this is our equation in point slope form for number 2. We can graph this by starting with the point. So we have 5, negative 1 right here, And we're going to go up 2 and then to the right 5. So we will go up 1, 2, and to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There'll be a point here. Since we're off the graph, let's go down 2 and to the left 5. So we go down 2 and to the left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have a point there. So we just connect these 3 points. And our line for number 2 would look like that. So now we're going to determine whether lines are parallel, they intersect, or coincide. So, like we said in class, we set these two up in slope-intercept form in order to see their slope clearly and their intercept. So let's take this equation and we'll move it over here. So we can add 3 to both sides and we get y is equal to -1/2 plus 3. And then we can take the second equation, move this guy over here, and we can start by distributing the 2. So we have y minus 5 is equal to 2x plus 6. And then we just add 5 to both sides to get the y by itself. So we have y is equal to 2x plus 11. So we have a line with the slope of 2 and another line with the slope of -1/2. These two slopes are not the same, so therefore these two lines intersect. Now let's look at 4. We have 2y is equal to 4x plus 12. So to get the y by itself, we divide everything by 2. So we have y is equal to 2x plus 6. And then our second equation, so now we have 4x minus 2y is equal to 8. So we can subtract the 4x from both sides. And we get -2y is equal to -4x plus 8. Now we can divide by -2. And we get y is equal to, we have a -4 on top of a -2. So this becomes a positive 2x. And a positive on top of a negative. So this will be -4. And our slope in this equation will be 2. And our slope in the first equation is also 2. Now we look at their intercepts and see if their intercepts are the same. We have 6 and -4. So these are not the same. So therefore these lines are only parallel. If they were the same y-intercept, then they would be coinciding because we would have the same line. So these two lines are parallel. So that is everything for 3.6.